Hi everyone, Olivia Reiner here for Packers News, joined by Pete Doherty, and we are here at Levi Stadium as the Packers are about to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Week 12, coming out of a bye week. They are remarkably healthy. I mean, you'll read off the inactives as you usually do, Pete, as per tradition now at this point.
Well, the honor's always mine. Yeah, this reminds me of 2014 when they played in the NFC Championship game. They had all 53 players available to them. Now they did have a couple guys on IR, but that's still, this is as healthy as a team, an NFL team, could ever hope to be this late in the season.
Oh, absolutely. And so speaking of some health, let's take a look at some of these inactives right now. So I'll have you read them off, and then we'll talk about who is active in their place.
And there's only 6 because there's only 52 on the roster right now. So the inactives are Ryan Grant, Dexter Williams, Will Redmond, Kadar Holman, Adam Pankey, and Jay Sternberger. Sternberger's inactive, presumably because Tanyan is up after missing 5 games, I think it was, with the hip injury. And so they're only going to have 3 tight ends active. And so Sternberger, after actually having a shockingly good debut as a blocker in his first NFL game, because he was a pass catcher coming out of school, but he's not up this week.
Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing what exactly their plans were with Sternberger this week, if they would give him more of a role in the passing game. But
that's what I
we'll just have to wait and see until another tight end is injured.
And I don't know if it's unheard of that you'd have 4 active, because the thing with tight ends is they're special teams guys too. But that's the way it is this week, and I guess they have the full roster to pick from, so there's got to be method to what they're thinking there.
Yeah, certainly good news for Robert Tanyan, who's been out after sustaining an injury week 5 against the Dallas Cowboys. A hip injury that every single week he seemed to be taking a step, getting closer. He was always on the injury report. He was never out entirely. He was always a game time decision, and he was never able to get off of that list until this week.
And if healthy, he's their most complete tight end. He's not as good a blocker as Mercedes Lewis, but he's probably a better blocker than Jimmy Graham. I think it's a close call there. And he's the best athlete, with Graham being 30. I think he just had his birthday, right?
Yes.
So I think he's 32 now. Is that correct?
Get up there.
Yeah. In the NFL, that's ancient. And so Tanyan's a better athlete, so he's their most complete guy. I wonder how many, after being out so long, will they play him a lot of snaps, or will they limit him to 15 or 20? We'll find out.
Yeah, but regardless of however many snaps he plays, I'm sure the Packers will be happy to have another receiver in addition to everyone else they've got. They've been really putting an emphasis on spreading the ball around, starting with the fact that Davante Adams missed several games with the turf toe injury, and so they were able to get into a rhythm, get the balls out to some other guys. So it's not as top-heavy as it was, let's say, last season when it was Davante Adams and everybody else. The Packers are spreading the ball around a little bit more, and Tanyan can give them another target.
That just reminded me. I remember thinking during training camp, with how often, when it was the ones going against the ones, with how often Rodgers threw to Adams, I was thinking this guy might catch 140 passes.
No,
not the injury is not. And you're right, though, with the way they do seem to be spreading it around more. Now, we'll see. Adams is only back for 1 game, so we'll see how this one goes. But I'm actually most curious to see if they can run the ball against the 49ers. The 49ers have a great defensive line. Their run defense hasn't been dominant, but it's still a really talented front that they're going to be running against. So.
Yep, absolutely. So also worth noting, Danny Vitale is active. He was dealing with a knee injury this week. He was questionable coming into the game today, but he's active, so that'll be a good weapon for them to have as well.
Yeah, he gets to play against his hero, Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah.
I think I finally...
Juszczyk?
Is it Juszczyk? One of the pronunciations I looked up made it look like it was usage, but who knows? We'll have to check on the flip card.
Kyle.
Have it on there. Yeah.
I already checked, couldn't find it.
Okay. Kyle from Harvard.
Yes,
who
there
plays
you go.
For the San Francisco 49ers.
There you go. Well, that's how we'll refer to him tonight.
Or number 44. That's probably quick, a little better shorthand.
Cole Madison also out tonight. He is on IR now after he reportedly, is it confirmed now? ACL injury? Okay, so there you go.
That's why there's only 52.
That's brutal. I mean, what a tough way for him to go out this season after taking all of last season off for personal reasons and coming back, making the team, making the 53-man roster after I think a lot of people really counted him out.
I dismissed his chances. Yeah. I had to admit that. The killer is it's not just that he misses all the practice they'll have for the rest of the season, but that's an ACL. We're looking at minimum of 10 months recovery on that. So it's a hard road back. It's a long road back, but that's part of playing this game.
So we're waiting on 49ers inactives, guys. I don't know. I think Pete's going to keep an eye on that as we continue on with our live stream.
Here
we go, Pete. Let's go. Give us the word, because this is important. I know a lot of Packers fans will want to know. There you go. How's that?
C.J. Beathard. So they have 3 quarterbacks. Robbie Gould is injured. Marquise Goodwin. So Matt Breida's not up. Joe Staley's not up.
He's having a hard time reading here.
D. Ford is not up. I think we knew Ford and Staley and Breida were not going to be up. And I can't read the last one. I need my reading glasses.
We've got Levine Toilolo. I cannot.
He's a tight end.
All right. Well,
he used to play for the Falcons.
Oh, no way. All right. Well, there you go.
Kyle Shanahan worked with him when he was in Atlanta.
All right. So that means that George Kittle is active as suspected.
Yeah.
He's been out for the last 2 games, and he is, a team leader in yards. He's got 2 touchdowns. He's a big part of this team's running game, too, as well. I think that might be an understated part of his game. Over the last 2 games, the 49ers have posted some of their worst rushing yards of the season, which without him, they have him back tonight. That could be a real boost in the run game and the pass game,
I'm trying to go through it in my head, and I'm sure I might be missing somebody, but he's very possibly the most complete tight end in the league. I mean, he is a good receiver and also a very good blocker. He's not saying he's Rob Gronkowski, but he's Rob Gronkowski light at minimum. So he's a really important player to them, and they don't have a ton of talent at receiver. So he's their best. He's their number 1 target in the passing game.
Emmanuel
and
Sanders
44 is probably number 2.
There you go. Well, Emmanuel Sanders is active. The Packers have already faced him once this season when he was with the Denver Broncos. He's back. He's been battling a rib injury. He didn't look so hot in their last game against the Cardinals. Seemed like he was in some pain. So I'm curious to see if he's on some sort of load management tonight.
Yeah, one of the when you're playing all these hurt guys, which we've seen the Packers do it a lot over the years. There's always that risk too of something happens during the game and they're right back where they were and they're on the bench, and you lose them halfway through the second quarter and you don't have them the rest of the game. So that's another thing to keep an eye on with Kittle and Samuel.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We've been chatting a lot amongst ourselves. Let's get over to Facebook right now. I'll take a look at the comments. Whatever questions you guys have, we're happy to ask them. If you're over on Facebook, on Periscope or on YouTube, hello to you guys there. We will not be taking your questions there, just on Facebook. So make sure you're heading on over to Facebook to ask me some questions. We've got lots and lots of folks in the chat. We got Randy from Salt Lake City. We've got, who else? A lot of people asking if George Kittle is playing, so clearly I'm too far back in the chat. Nick says that this game is going to show who the Packers really are as a team, and I think that he has a very good point. I mean, this game can set the tone for the stretch at the remainder of the season. If they lose tonight, they fall to tied 3rd seed with the Minnesota Vikings, correct? Or, if they win, it puts them on top of the NFC.
Yeah, this is a huge game that way. They win this, then you got the tiebreaker over the 49ers too. The 49ers have a killer schedule the rest of the way. They've got, I think, New Orleans. They've got Los Angeles.
I think it's Baltimore, New Orleans.
Baltimore is obviously a really tough one.
And the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, so they've got a tough road the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Probably out of all the contenders by far the hardest. So this is a really big game for them.
Yeah, and conversely, the Packers have a little bit of an easier game after this. An easier two games in theory on paper.
In theory, yes.
It's the NFL. I'd say that every team has some semblance of a chance of winning. You could probably argue with me on that.
These coaches always say, the other guys are on scholarship too. So
exactly. So they got the Giants next week, and then they'll come back home to face Washington, and then they're back actually home again. So home games back to back against the Chicago Bears. So who knows what could happen there, but certainly worth discussing. Let's see what else we got here, guys. Let's see. How do you think the Packers O-line holds up from Robin? The 49ers have some pretty strong pass rushers. It's going to be a big game for them.
Really curious to see Bakhtiari against Bosa. Very much struggled against his brother a few weeks ago in Los Angeles, so that'll be a big matchup to watch.
Yeah, I wonder how much the Bosa brothers talk.
I don't know. We'll have to ask Bakhtiari after the game. No D Ford though, so
That's big.
Packers catch a break there.
Yeah, let's see. Defense needs to stop 3rd and long plays, says Amy. Have they been giving up too many explosive plays on 3rd down there?
I think the explosive plays are coming at any time.
Yeah.
3rd and long, they've been okay. They're better than the past. But it's the 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5s where I think they've been giving up those passes over the middle. That's where the tight end's been killing them.
Yep. So if you're just joining us now, Brian asks if we've done the injury report yet. Yes, we have done the injury report. But just to reiterate, Robert Tonyan and Danny Vitale are both active today. Cole Madison placed on IR. The Packers are currently at 52 men on the roster, so there's one fewer inactive. That's the gist of it. Big names on the inactives list include Jace Sternberger won't be getting another shot in this offense to prove himself as more than just a blocker, which maybe some of you out there are disappointed and want to see a little bit more from him, but you'll just have to wait. Also worth noting that George Kittle is active for the 49ers, and so is Emmanuel Sanders. Deebo Samuel is also active, so they've got some receiving weapons that will be out there on the field tonight. All right, let's see if we've got any other. That was a quick rundown. Robin has a good question. Robin, you're full of good questions today because I wanted to talk to you about this too, Pete. She or he asks, I'm not sure. I guess Robin could be either.
Could be Robin Young.
Yes, it's true. Who do you think will be covering Kittle tonight? Do you think they try to double team the guy? Do they have someone who can really man-to-man stay on him?
I would think they're going to double him a decent amount. This is like playing Travis Kelce, basically. So I would think so. The primary person will probably be, Savage or Amos, one of those two. Probably Amos.
And who do you think they play in the middle of the field alongside Blake Martinez? That's been a real sore spot for the Packers this season, and it's been a spot that the 49ers have been able to abuse pretty well.
And these guys are going to run. They're going to run it, they're going to run it, they're going to run it, which suggests B.J. Goodson's going to be out there a fair amount. But we'll see what the plan is. Your guy, Ibrahim Campbell, played a lot last game. 42 snaps, was it? Something like that. That was a lot of snaps first game back.
Plus special teams.
Yeah, so he'll probably get a lot of work too because he's in the dime. He plays a lot. So it'll be a mix of those guys depending on what personnel the 49ers put on the field. They do way more two-back than anybody else in the league. So I've got to think it's going to be Goodson. This is going to be one of his higher snap count games unless the Packers get ahead and the Niners go 3 wides a lot.
Got some questions. I've lost the name, but we had someone asking about Jimmy Garoppolo, what the Packers need to do to slow him down. Do they blitz him a little bit more? He is an interesting quarterback.
He is. He is.
He's thrown a lot of interceptions, at least one interception in all but 2 games so far this season. But he posted a pretty good day against the Arizona Cardinals. Besides 2 red zone interceptions, threw for over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. What do the Packers need to do to get to him?
Yeah, I would guess that he tried to heat him up at least on 3rd downs. I remember watching that Seattle game a couple weeks ago, and in the 4th quarter and overtime, there was probably 3 balls that should have been intercepted that he threw that weren't. He'll make some plays, but he'll throw it up. He'll throw it up for grabs a little bit too. So I would think they'd want to heat him up just to, get him to get the ball out quicker than he wants and maybe make a mistaken judgment.
Let's see. All right, Pete. I know we always go through our predictions, and we don't always love making predictions.
No, we don't.
Because who knows? We do not have a crystal ball. We don't know. But who did you take for this game tonight?
I'm trying to remember this. I took 49ers, I think 27-21, I think was the score I went with. I can't remember your score. I know I saw it.
It's almost the same score I pick every week. I pick around the same every single week. I'm not proud of it, but I'm always like, it sounds about a safe one. This one actually might be a little bit closer than usual. I picked 30-27 49ers. I don't know. I think they have been proven to abuse, like I said, areas of the Packers defense that the defense has struggled with all season.
Run game, tight end.
Run game in the middle especially of the field has been a really sore spot for the Packers, so that's what I'm saying. Even though the Packers are coming off a bye, they've had 2 weeks plus to prepare for this game. They're mostly healthy.
Yeah, they're way healthier.
But I think the 49ers have a good deal of their playmakers that are healthy, even though they're not healthy. They're playing the game. They're active tonight. I think it'll be a fun one tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and really, I mean, if you look at this objectively, I mean, it's obviously a really big game for everybody, but with that schedule they have coming up, and this is a home game, I think it's a really big game for the 49ers because they could easily lose 2 or 3 times over the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, the season's almost over, you guys. How crazy!
There.
How crazy! Maybe there will be a postseason in the future. At this point, is there a maybe? I mean, the NFC is tight.
If the Packers don't make it, it will be a big time collapse.
Yeah, of all your years.
Yeah, it would be up there. I mean, they're between their health and the schedule and being 8-2, they're sitting pretty good. And we've talked about this in other sessions, but I wouldn't have bet a nickel on this in September, early September. But
Here we are in a very interesting place. Did not expect this, but guys, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. We will be with you guys after the game as well to wrap this one up. Make sure you're following us on social media for lots of updates throughout the game. Follow all of our coverage over on PackersNews.com. Go over to Tom Silverstein's live blog because maybe I will make an appearance. I don't know. I probably shouldn't say that.
You should take over at halftime.
I have a little bit in the past. I'm very impressed with Tom and what he does with that live blog. It's a lot of fun and it's not easy. I don't know if he gets that credit.
It's tough. I'm sure that people out there would have no idea how hard it is to both watch the game and live blog. I don't know how he does it.
I do not know.